have it. A little clip on what Dato Ruby Khong does. She is the president of Kachara Soup Kitchen, also known as KSK. Welcome on to Bella.
Thank you,
Looking
Vanessa.
lovely. I love your jacket. Looking very well. Looking at that, it's nice to see that those were your colleagues as well. They were saying how, talking about it and how it's Kachara Soup Kitchen has done a lot for the people. But we want to know a bit more about you, Dato Ruby, the woman behind it. Tell us a bit about yourself. Yeah.
Well, actually, Kachara Soup Kitchen is not my idea. It is actually inspired by my spiritual guide, His Eminence Sam Tuku Rinpoche, who himself experienced life as a homeless during his growing up years. So, a few years ago, he asked a group of us to serve the community because he himself has been doing that the last few years also. And that was how Kachara Soup Kitchen came about. Well, I'm a mother of three.
Kids?
Yes, 3 grown-up kids. And in fact, both my daughters are here in the studio with me today.
We'll be meeting them later.
Oh, yes, yes. And I'm also the regional director of an international petroleum company. I also run a Himalayan artifacts shop under...
Wow. How do you find time for yourself doing all this? How do you find time for yourself?
Well, I think teamwork is very important, and having a supportive group of people and also family members who support of your cause and your work, that's very important.
Very important. And for Kachara Soup Kitchen, I mean, I was very amazed to find out that, you know, that there is a soup kitchen. I mean, I heard there's maybe a few, but to actually have a permanent soup kitchen as well in Malaysia, I think it's a fantastic idea. Because you always watch it in the movies, the soup kitchens for the needy.
In fact, we serve every day of the week. And I dare say that we are the biggest, and we serve 1,800 hungry stomachs every week.
Every week, and that's, like we said, you warm people's tummies.
Yes.
You know, which is something really important, because giving back to society, there's so many ways of doing it, and I think feeding the unfortunate, the people who do not have the means to always have a good meal, is one way of doing it.
Actually, feeding is just our first step. Our main objective actually is to get them off the streets.
Definitely.
Yes. So we do that by feeding them first and bringing them into our kitchen, talk to them and see what are their needs.
Like they say, a way through a man's heart is through their tummies, but a way through a woman's heart is through their tummies as well. And when did it actually start? You told us the inspiration behind it. It was your spiritual guide.
My spiritual guide, yes.
But when did you actually start? When did Kachara Soup Kitchen actually kick-start?
We started in around 2006. We just walked the streets and the back lanes of the Klang Valley. And as the week went by, there were more volunteers and more sponsors coming in. So we decided that by the time we were already in 2008, and so we registered with the Registrar Society, and we've been growing from strength to strength.
Growing from strength to strength.
Yes, now we not just have a soup kitchen, we also have counseling services. We provide laundry facilities. And last year in 2012, I managed to launch our food bank. What this food bank does is that we actually collect dry provisions like rice, cooking oil, soap and stuff like that from donors, and then we use our van and distribute it to the poor families and to the smaller charity homes.
Which is fantastic. Well, earlier we heard some of your colleagues and of course the volunteers talk about you as well. But let's find out how, what they say, how you actually inspire them. So we have a clip on this as well and what they think of KSK. So let's take a look at this one.
One of the things that we are doing out ordinary is that we distribute food on Saturday midnight. So not many people can actually sacrifice, so to say, their family days to come out and volunteer. These are I think that's a common goal when you're not working for yourself.
看到那些卡宴啊，在外面啊，看他们有的吃，我们看了也比较开心哦，所以我们就进来可以帮忙就进来帮忙咯，是这样子咯。
My opinion, I think it helps just to help the people who doesn't have food, distribute the wealth around the Malaysians, and also help people be more aware of how wealthy we are.
There is a Kachara food bank. People donate extra food for us, which is extra for us, instead of letting it rot or whatever. So we actually share it with other poor families. Poor families are those people who are not being actually people who fall through the crack of maybe kebajikan or something, or other people. When people want to do charitable work, they always think of old folks, orphanage, you know, and people who are mentally challenged or physically challenged. But little do we know that there are many families who are actually living well under poverty line, you know. So because and also they don't know how to find help, you know. So this is where we would like to complement the other charitable organizations and what governments is doing. So we by words of mouth, or you know, by our volunteers or by people who come and take food from us, we know that there are families out there who, like maybe one of the parents who the breadwinner is actually injured or lose the ability to make money, you know, so they have no financial support. So we are not able to give them financial support on a continuous basis, but what we can do is that we give them quality food.
我们也是这样，在这里尽我们的能力，能够需要帮忙的我们就帮忙了。
So good,
I love it, Dato Ruby. Looking at that, you have an age group of different volunteers, from the young to the mid-age to the older, and they're all there for a good cause. And I like what one of them said. You call those people who come your clients.
Yes. They are.
That's interesting. So your perspective on the people who come, you call them your clients. Why do you call them your clients?
Yes, for a few reasons. One of them is that we would like to give them some dignity. I mean, if you have been living on the streets for that long, you know, you lose all self-esteem.
Correct.
Yes, and also it is a privilege for us to be able to serve the community, and that is why we see them as our client rather than, you know.
I love it because watching that, you know, client. I think that's a really nice way of putting it. Like you say, give them back a little bit of a boost in their life, because some of them, they've worked throughout their life and maybe they just had a misfortune happen in their lives. So who are your main clients actually? Is it more women, more men, or is it a variety of people?
Actually, they're all from a very diverse background, and in fact, when we serve, you know, we serve without discrimination. So we've got elderly ladies, we even have younger people, you know, we have people who comes in from different walks of life, and then our food is halal and also is vegetarian. So, you know, everyone can eat with a peace of mind.
Everyone can sit together and eat together.
That's right. So, and what's unique is that our soup kitchen is actually very nice. Many people have mistaken us to be a restaurant.
Yes. How big is your kachara?
It is about 1,700 square feet. And when I was doing the renovation, I spoke to my sponsor and I said that I would like to have this place that's very visually pleasant, because we are actually serving a group of our community who probably will never get a chance to walk into a decent restaurant for the rest of their life. So if we can provide that for them, even for a few minutes of the day, at least there is some hope.
That's really lovely. Yes. And how many people can actually fit in KSK?
At any one time, we have about 45 sitting.
And how do people know? I mean, obviously, how do they know to come there? How do your clients know to come there?
Yes, we've been doing this for the last 6 years continuously, day in, day out, rain or shine, even on eve of Chinese New Year and public holidays, and we are kind of like a brand name, a household name name among the homeless clients.
And it's situated in Jalan Imbi,
yes,
the permanent, KSK. Who actually prepares the food? How many? You know, who is the one that handles the food and all that in your? Can anyone do it or?
Yes. If anyone wishes to sponsor, they can actually contract their own restaurant to serve, to pack this food and bring it to us, or we can send our van to pick up, or they can donate us money and we will cook it for them.
You will cook it for them. So you actually have a very functioning kitchen
to
cook all the food. So who is your main sponsor when it comes to food? You know, obviously you need the dry food, the raw materials and stuff. Who actually just gives you all that?
Giant has been sponsoring us for a few years now. They give us the raw materials on three times a week. We also have got restaurants and hotels who participate, you know, from time to time. In fact, every week now, for the last 14 months, we have been having corporate companies coming in as part of their CSR program. So every week there will be a different company who will come in, bring their staff in to volunteer and also give us the food.
That's fantastic, right?
It is,
so it's a great outlet for volunteers who also want to give back to society. They can go there because at the end of the day, there's so many ways. If we ourselves cannot give monetary, we can always give ourselves to help out, right?
That's right.
And I heard besides providing food to your clients, you have other things as well. What are some of those other things that you have?
Kachara is not just the soup kitchen. The soup kitchen is just a community arm of it. Because my spiritual guide believes that people like to express their spirituality in different ways. So we have like a, excuse me.
It's okay, clear throat. You can get warm in here.
Yes, so we also have a vegetarian restaurant that's called Kachara Oasis, because we provide, we promote vegetarianism.
Yes.
Like there are some people who like to express their spirituality by painting. We have an art studio, that's Kachara Saraswati Arts. We also have a publishing arm, that's Kachara Medium Publication. So Kachara actually has 13 different kinds of activities or departments, if you can call it, that people can just join us to express their spirituality. And those who like community work, obviously,
and at the end of the day, they
Kitchen.
also get to give back. Yes. And people who need it will receive it as well.
That's right.
And I also heard you give out, besides food, you give out
we've got
umbrellas,
umbrellas, raincoats, you know, blankets, new clothes. Recently, we also been giving school bags to students who are starting school for the first time, and also school uniforms.
Yeah, so because like you say, you don't actually give them the finances with your clients, but you actually help them out with whatever they might need and all that.
Yes. So Kachara Soup Kitchen actually has evolved from just food.
From 2006, just from food.
From food to now, you know, having food bank and even our mobile clinic, and now even providing school uniform and school bags.
Wow, that's fantastic. Well, you know what, we're going for a very quick break, but don't go anywhere, because we have some other two special guests who will be joining Dato Ruby on as well. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Bella Society. Well, as you saw that, what people thought of, well, the volunteers of Kachara Soup Kitchen. If you're just joining us, earlier we were talking to Dato Ruby Khong, and she is the president of Kachara Soup Kitchen, and joining her are her two lovely daughters. We have Elisa Khong Jean Mei, daughter. She's, well, obviously daughter, block secretary, finance of Kachara Soup Kitchen, and Elena Khong Jean Ai, right? And she's the writer and webmaster of Kachara Soup Kitchen. It's really nice to see all three of you here. I said you all look like sisters, right? Do people mistake you for sisters?
Yeah, all the time.
And then you said, unfortunately. That was before we were airing the show just now.
It's
a compliment to mommy, right?
Not an insult to them.
No, but I think you're very proud of your mommy, right?
Yes, definitely.
You know, she's a super mommy. What do you think about what your mom has done so far?
I think it's really good. I mean, to have a mother who represents, or like, she's somebody who can multitask really well. She does charity work. She's in the corporate field as well. She has, I mean, she raised the three of us, which was not very easy. And she represents somebody who I think most mothers should aspire to do. I mean, to work and to do charity and to also focus on their children, their education and their health and everything. So it's good. Yeah.
She's definitely an inspiration for you.
Definitely.
And I heard you have a brother, right?
Yes.
So I heard from my producer, he's quite handsome. Is he? Must be like, mommy is good looking, so daughters are also good looking. He's a pilot, is that right? Tell me a bit about your brother. He's not part of the Kachara Soup Kitchen. He's a pilot. Where is he right now?
He's still in Sydney.
He's always in Sydney.
Yes, he's in a flying school there, and he's been there for the last 1 year. So when you say that he's not in Kachara Soup Kitchen, I think we got to add the word yet.
Yes. You'll rope him in eventually, right? He could be flying, bringing you the goods and stuff, some special order and stuff. And for you, Elena, I mean, tell me, what did you girls do before you actually joined your mom in this work as well?
Before I came back to Malaysia, I was actually based in London. I was there for about a year, and I was working in the probation service. So for that time, we were actually rehabilitating ex-convicts.
Oh,
yes. Wow. Yeah, so we were running them through psychological programs and trying to get them to think in a different way so that it lowers their chances of reoffending.
Wow. So do you think that's helped you in what you do now as well? Because in a way.
It does. When I was in that job, what I realized was that a lot of people reoffend due to their circumstances, due to the environment. So we need to resolve what it is that they are facing, the issues that they are facing, so that they don't reoffend. And it's not to say that the homeless are potential criminals, but to remove the environmental factors that will lead them to commit crime.
Because it's the situation they're in.
Exactly, yes.
Desperation sometimes. Yes. And for you, Elisa, what were you doing?
Mine was not as virtuous as
I'm sure. Tell me a bit about it.
I was in Beijing. I was studying Mandarin over there because, to be honest, I did not know what to do with my life after graduating in England. So I went to China and I was basically just studying there. And when I came back for the holidays, I volunteered in KSK and I really liked it. You know, it was something good.
So who's the older sister?
I am.
You're the older sister. You're the 大家姐 right? So, but that is great. So you learn how to speak Mandarin.
Yes.
讲华语啦，很好啊。
韩语。
韩语哇 But that's fantastic. I think mommy is very proud of your two daughters.
Yes, definitely.
How did they come in willingly, or did you talk to them about it? Or how did it start for your two daughters coming in?
Actually, I'm very liberal with all my kids. You know, I've never forced them to study or take on a certain profession because that's what the parents believe in. But
Fantastic.
like Elena, she did psychology in Warwick, and Elisa, it was her own choice to do accounting and finance, and my son now,
Really
you know,
handy.
being a pilot. Yes. So actually, they came in because they also they claim that they're inspired with what they see in me and also my work. And in fact, you know, the very fact that they are here with us today
It's
in this studio
I
is a testament to that.
I can see the passion in it. And tell me a bit more about the latest project. I heard that it's called Kachara Forest Retreat. That's interesting. What's that about? Who wants to share?
Yes.
You can share it.
We have acquired a 35-acre piece of land. It's at the foothills of Genting in Bentong.
Okay.
And we are currently developing it into a place, an institution, as a weekend getaway for families who want to come away from the city and their general life where it's all focused about themselves, and give them a break from that kind of environment so that they can learn to focus on others and then in that way develop their own source of happiness.
Wow, interesting. Is it something that I would say, you know, I see a lot of people nowadays in society, they're always with their handphones, with their gadgets, they're not communicating. In that retreat, are you going to have restrictions on that? Example? Or
because I won't be there.
You won't be there? No, but it's interesting because you were saying you want them to focus on the fact.
Actually, what we're trying to create there is a holistic kind of a living whereby families can just use that as a weekend getaway because it's about 1 hour drive only from Kuala Lumpur. So we're having a very big aviary, fish pond, you know, we've got organic farming.
Wow.
Yes, and Chico meditational walking path, stuff like that, you know, in Kachara Forest Retreat. And we hope to be able to open very soon, like in about 3 months from today.
In 3 months? So the project already started way back?
A few months back, yes.
And besides that, I heard is there other projects going on for Kachara?
For now, we're all concentrating all our resources in Kachara Forest Retreat because we believe that this will really be able to benefit the city folks.
That's fantastic. And you, like you said, 3 months down the road, and it's near Genting, which is going to be nice and cooling. People love that, right? Especially in KL, it's so hot. And looking at how do people volunteer for Kachara Soup Kitchen especially? Like, can they go there to cook, or how do they go about that?
We have a website.
Yes.
It is www.kachara.com/KSK. We also have a fan page. All the information is stated there. What we require from the public is, as you know, for any NGO for that matter, is funding. We need volunteers. We need medical personnel who can help in our mobile clinic. Yes, and we also need counselors. So these are the different fields that volunteers can come in to assist.
And do they have to come in full-time, or they can just come in?
No, they don't need to be full-time. Yes, they can come in as and when suits their schedule.
Nice one. And for you girls, you know, has it opened your mind or opened the way you think about life, you know, joining something like this with your mommy?
Yeah,
Lisa?
definitely. Even for when I first started volunteering, going down to town, to KL, to give food to the homeless, most of the time when we go out in KL, we go out to a restaurant, to a club, you know, karaoke. It's never to like feed the homeless. So going down is a different perspective. You know, even just physically going down to town, you have a complete different perspective on society. But other than that as well, I mean, the fact that you even notice these people, you start to realize that you have to be more empathetic towards different people from different walks of life. You know, even the people that you meet, your colleagues, your family members, your relatives, your friends. It's changed.
It's quite a mind opener as well.
Definitely.
For you, Elena, for yourself, how do you contribute besides obviously in what you do, the work?
I do go down to the soup kitchen on Saturdays to join in the distribution rounds, and I'm a writer as well, and the writing is not just for Kachara Soup Kitchen, but also for the entire organization. So a lot of the online work, a lot of the social media work, I will do that.
Which is fantastic nowadays. You can do that, right?
Yes. So actually, usually I'm always behind the keyboard.
You're always behind the keyboard, then you come out once in a while. So these two are more in the open, the forefront.
Yes.
Well, there's something interesting. You also give away, like I heard, washing machines and stuff.
No, we don't give away.
Oh no, you wash their stuff for them.
That's right. We have laundry facilities because many people tend to forget that the homeless also needs to have their clothes laundered.
Yeah. And I love what your mom, the way she calls them clients.
Yeah.
Don't you think that's a fantastic way of?
Yes, it's definitely more respectful towards the people. I mean, they already have their confidence is very low, living on the streets. So by calling them the client as compared to saying the homeless person or the urban poor, you know, to call them a client, it's much more respectful.
And I think they feel the respect as well. Yes. And how do you actually help them get back on their feet? Because you were saying it's not just to provide them food, you wanted them to be there so that you can help them get back into society, like work-wise, and how do you actually help them? How do you actually motivate these people?
Yes. We've got many hotels and restaurants, security firms who come to us needing staffs. Yes. So this is how we match.
Nice one. So do you get to know your clients pretty well, or the volunteers get to know them?
Yes, we know most of them by their first name.
Nice. That's not easy. I mean, that takes a lot of, true sincerity to me. And where, you have your own base in Jalan Imbi, but I heard you also go on the road. Yes. So to which parts of Malaysia do you actually extend it to?
Yes. We've got a soup kitchen in Penang. We have our own building there.
Oh, you have our own building in Penang as well?
Yes. And we also do food distribution every weekend in Ipoh, Johor Bahru, Kuantan, Malacca.
Every weekend. Yes. And what time is that? Do you do it throughout the day, or is
it? Just at night. The reason being is that it's easier to find the homeless at night because they will usually be already sleeping outside the pathways of closed shop lots.
Yeah, nice one. And what about any other upcoming projects that's coming for Kechara?
Yeah, like I said earlier, for 2013, we're all concentrating on Kechara Forest Retreat. Yes, we've got to get that
full on within that project. And
full steam.
Full steam, full on. Yes. So no small little ones. That's the full big one, right?
Yes. It requires quite a lot of funding.
I'm sure, because it's So what sort of a funding have you got for it as well? Like, how big would it be? You say it's 35 acres.
Oh, yes.
So how big would the retreat be actually in terms of the...
for phase 1, we'll be able to accommodate about 50 50 people in our dormitories, and we'll also be having a small canteen. But for phase 2, we intend to have a full-fledged floating vegetarian restaurant.
Nice one. And I love it. So can you tell our viewers out there any last words or your advice to them for people who want to do something? What would your final say be to them?
Yes. For me, my advice would be always that do not always think that charity work is only for the privileged few or those who have achieved, material success. It is not. Every single one of us, we have a role to play in contributing towards back to our society. For those, the younger people, they can perhaps volunteer, and those who are in the rat race, they might not have the time. They would like to sponsor financially. So everyone has a role to play.
Yeah. And for you, Elisa, to all the young people out there, on your point?
Mine would be, we have to do something in life. Yeah. We might as well just do something good. Yeah. We have to do something better. I think it's better to spend some Saturday nights going out to feed the homeless as compared to spending every Saturday night going to the club.
Going karaoke.
Split the time up a little.
Split the time. Yeah. That's a great one. And for you, Elena?
I personally believe that if you want to see change in the world, you have to be that change yourself first.
Nice.
So if you want people to care about you, in order to get that care back, you need to show care to others. And I believe that is what makes society compassionate, and that actually helps to develop society emotionally, spiritually, as well as materially.
Wow, that's very well said. And I'm sure, Mommy, you're very proud of your 2 daughters.
Definitely.
Okay, so thank you so much, ladies, for coming onto the show. Almost like the 3 sisters coming onto the show. Then, of course, your website, www.kechara.com, and you also have a fan page on Facebook, KSK page. Yes. So thank you so much once again, ladies, for coming on to Bella. And of course, if you want to find out the details, we have the website. You can actually go there. It's on our screen right now. Well, Bella will be going for another quick break. Don't go anywhere because we have more coming up right after this.